Responding to a tender. After the vendor logs into iSpec, open tenders that require a response will be listed in the Outstanding Tasks section of the dashboard. Any recently opened or tenders that have been made favorite will also be listed. When the tender is opened for the first time, vendors will be required to choose if they intend to participate in the tender or not. Expand the Documents panel. Any documents that require a response will have an alert icon next to the document name. Vendors will be required to enter a response for each heading, and will not be able to submit their bid until all of the documents are complete, and the alert icon next to all the documents disappear. When the document is opened, the headings are highlighted red to indicate the items are not complete. In the first example, the vendor must select if they comply or not with this item. If they do not comply, they must specify a reason why not. When the response has been saved, the heading name will change from red to black to indicate it is complete. In the second example, a text response is needed, so the vendor can enter text, upload an attachment, or both. When an attachment has been uploaded, the initials of the vendor will be added next to the attachment name. The next example is a pricing document, and requires vendors to enter a cost for each item. Vendors can also add a pricing response and attachment, similar to a text response. Vendors can enter a cost of 0 on any priced item, but must specify a reason for it. If a vendor has a query about any item, they can send and receive messages using the built-in messaging system. Each message is linked with the individual heading, and a full back-and-forth message history stored in iSpec. The final example is a document that requires delivery and commissioning dates. Enter an actual date of delivery, or the amount of days after the contract start date, when the items can be delivered. If a delivery date has been requested, vendors must be able to deliver within the time frame. If not, select Do Not Comply, enter a reason, then enter any date. If any information is missing, a notification appears to let the vendor know what is still required. As each document is completed, the alert icons next to the document name will disappear. iSpec has two built-in reports that the vendor can view. The first is the bid submission status, which shows a summary of the completed and incomplete items. The second is the pricing reports, which shows individual and total costs of all priced items. Go through the remaining documents until all of the documents are completed. Now all the documents are completed, the tender is ready for submission. However, if there are any outstanding messages, these must be confirmed as read before the bid can be submitted. Documents that have unread messages will show an icon next to the document name. Messages can be marked as read from the messaging widget, or by opening the document. The heading with the unread message will also show an icon. When all of the messages are marked as read, the bid is ready for submission. Click the Submit button, and enter your password. The bid has now been submitted. Even after submission, the bid can be edited and submitted multiple times, up until the closing date. If an item is changed after submission, a notification will show, to warn the vendor they must submit their bid again. Failure to do so will result in a no submission bid, after the tender is closed. If the vendor has an alternative, an option can be added with a separate price. Click the option button and add another price. The addition will be included in the submission. Pricing responses and attachments can be added to an option, the same way as they are added in the original price. When all changes are finished, click the Submit button, enter a password, and the bid will be submitted again. The internal user is not able to see any responses until the tender is closed, and the bids have been opened. Even after the bid has been submitted, vendors may decide they do not want to submit a bid after all, and can change their submission to a no bid. In the same way, vendors who decided not to bid, and submitted a no bid, may decide they now want to bid on the tender.